day and welcome to News TV.
I'm Divina Pasigan.
This is Renzo Pabon.
This is Ara Patawaran.
This is Jennifer Pagunaling.
Welcome to News TV. Bring me the eye on the news for today.
Here is the first news, Jennifer.
Let us hear from Ara Patawaran. What was RA 8371 all about? Thank you, Jennifer.
The state, subject to the provisions of this Constitution and national development policies and programs, shall protect the rights of indigenous cultural communities to their ancestral lands to ensure their economic, social, and cultural well-being. The Congress may provide the applicability of laws governing property rights of relations in determining the ownership and extent of ancestral domain. The state shall recognize, respect, and protect the rights of indigenous cultural communities to preserve and develop their cultures, traditions, and institutions. Despite difficult hurdles and amendments enacted in the Congress which nearly brought the movement to its death, the House of Representatives finally approved the bill late in September 1997. President Fidel V. Ramos signed it on October 22, 1997, officially making it Republic Act No. 8371, Indigenous Peoples Rights Act of 1997, which aims to recognize, protect, and promote the rights of indigenous cultural communities and indigenous peoples, ICCS and IPS, and for the other purposes.
Now, let's hear some additional news and events about this law. Yes, Renzo?
Yes, thank you, Jennifer.
Based on what we had read in some articles online about RA 8371. Firstly is the study of Arlen Santiago entitled The Cordillera Indigenous Peoples Right to Land, that we would say that it would fall to Chapter 2, which comprise of Section 3 and Chapter 3 of Section 4 up to Section 12. A target placed particularly in the Cordillera, which compose of around 1.2 million indigenous peoples, collectively known as Igorots. Secondly, according to the Open Government Partnership site entitled the Philippine Indigenous Representation in Local Legislative Councils, they addresses particularly in the gaps in the status quo identified. The non-acceptance by the local government units, selected indigenous people, mandatory representative, and remove from politicians and other stakeholders that would fall in Section 16 of RA 8371.
After hearing the news and events from Ara and Renzo, now let us know what are the penalties.
Thank you, Jennifer.
According to RA 8371 Chapter 11, any person who violates any provision of this act shall upon conviction be punished by imprisonment of not less than 9 months but not more than 12 years, or a fine of not less than 100,000 pesos nor more than 500,000 pesos, or both such fine and imprisonment upon the discretion of the court, cancellation of certificates of their registration and or license. The penalty shall include perpetual disqualification to hold public office. For further information with penalties, visit ncip.gov.ph.
We've got some important news for you. What is the benefit of this law for all the indigenous people? Now, let's watch this.
Indigenous and Tribal People Convention 1989 number 169. The government is responsible for developing with the help of IP to create, coordinate the systematic action to protect the rights and to guarantee respect, ensuring that members of indigenous people also have the same equal rights and opportunities which national laws and regulation grant to other members of population. Respect for their social, cultural identity, and to their tradition, to eliminate the socio-economic gap that may exist between indigenous people and other members of national community. Indigenous people shall enjoy the measure of human rights and fundamental freedom without hindrance and discrimination. Special measures shall be adopted as appropriate for safeguarding to the people, institution, property, and labor, shall be recognized and protected. The improvement of the condition of life, livelihood, health, and education of indigenous people with their participation shall be matter. Government shall take measure in cooperation with the peoples concerned to protect and preserve the environment of their territories. The rights of ownership and possession of the people concerned over the lands which they traditionally occupy shall be recognized. Adequate procedure shall be established within the national legal system to resolve land claims by the people concerned.